Check. What's up? And good morning from the Mountain Time Zone. I'm Don Pablo. This is Mountain Time Sports Report. I want to thank everybody for joining us here at the Mountain Time Sports Report. Rapids Rant coming up here in a little bit. But we're going to be talking about stadium news, Utah news. We got a Mountain Time Zone team in a major sports league final starting tonight. Of course, the Edmonton Oilers. We're going to get some other talk from other time zones. Obviously, Oklahoma City and Indiana, Central Time Zone teams fighting for the Larry O'Brien Trophy in the NBA. We'll have all that and more coming up on the Mountain Time Sports Report, Mountain Standard Time Sports Report. Follow us on YouTube and Twitch. Turn on the notifications and subscribe. You can get the alert when I'm live. And you can watch us, live. And today we got an early one because I woke up early, went to bed early, got some editing and all that stuff for the real job done. Because the Rockies going for the sweep. That's right. Your Colorado Rockies going for the sweep in Miami. Almost halfway through the match. And Rockies played it a run in the first inning. They're up 1-0, almost halfway through the game. I don't know who these Rockies are, but if they win today, it'll be a quarter of their wins on the season. All of three, against the Miami Marlins on the road, no less. And they had the worst road record by far. And I was actually just going to open that up and check it out because it's June 1st. And they finally won a series yesterday. There's some other news in Mountain Time Zone for the Phoenix Suns that just happened. We'll get to in a minute. Just checking on this MLB baseball standings real quick. Oh, and rebranding news from the Utah Jazz. We'll get that here in a minute. Of course, Phoenix, Arizona, sometimes they're in the Mountain Time Zone, sometimes they're not. They don't observe daylight savings time, which apparently the United States is not going to do that anymore. But I think it's an act of Congress that has to happen for that to officially be put to bed. But, we don't talk about politics on the show except for every time, especially for stadiums and projections and talk about poker tournament I participated in this past weekend. Went camping. Obviously, Rapids had the weekend off. There was no the Eastern Conference Finals ended, but I got to watch that. And of course, Champions League, tough day for Salt Lake, and I don't know how much Pablo has left as the head man over there. Yeah, the Rockies. How am I gonna know that? 2-8. Oh, in their last 10, sorry. And of course, 26 games behind the Los Angeles Dodgers in the NL West. 11 wins against 50 losses on the season. Hey, their run differential went up. They improved it. Only 182 negative. Man, that's rough, Rocky. There's no way they can climb out. Like, if they get to 100, will that be considered a victory? I don't know. So, yeah, Rockies win today. That'll be 3 of their 12 wins against Miami. I don't think they have played against Miami the rest of the season. I'm looking up that right now. So, we'll see. Rockies actually made the front page of the paper for that. Not that anybody reads the paper anymore, but, one of their wins against Tampa, one against Oakland, one against Milwaukee, Won against Washington, D.C. They have had a 2-game winning streak before today. Atlanta and at San Francisco, end of April, beginning of May. And yeah, this is the first time they play. They beat the Padres once, they beat the Diamondbacks once, they beat the Yankees once. And they've taken 2 of 3 so far against Miami. They're playing today. They're winning, like I said, 1-0 in the 5th. Right now, have that up going at the same time. Kyle Freeland in line for the victory at this point. So come on. Thomas Jefferson's own Kyle Freeland. Thomas Jefferson it's about half a mile to the south of me right now. And yes, I do live in my old high school neighborhood. I have lived other places in other states and other time zones. Most notably, the wonderful land of Enchantment, New Mexico. One of my favorite places. My favorite place to go. Northern New Mexico, where the fam's from. I'll take that any day. I was trying to talk my friend into driving down instead of 25, 285, and going through Espanola and central New Mexico instead of going down the valley, because it's a beautiful drive down there. Anyway, it is a Mountain Time Zone tip right there. 285. You're going to go by the sand dunes, drive by Salida. You're going to go Guanella Pass. And yeah, just straight through there. It's not that far away from the Four Corners if you care about that. So there's that. Although the Four Corners is a lie. It's not where it is. It's like a couple miles to the, I think, southwest. So, but that's the only place they could put a road, I guess. I was disappointed that day when that happened, but when I got that news. The Rockies are going against their old friend Cal Quattrell, excuse me. There goes the words too big for my mouth. But, I was at this poker tournament in Blackhawk at the Monarch. Although Bally's poker room, also fun. And, I'm not a spring chicken. I'm in my 40s now. Not well into them. Early 40s. And I go to play a tournament because I don't like playing cash games. I don't know. Maybe that's cheapness. Maybe whatever. So, and it was just old guys. It was old guys that had some degenerates. And Rockies are going to take a 2-0 lead on a double. Wow, Rockies. They're doing something. We'll see. They got to play the Mets next, and they're not going to be a pushover like the Miami Marlins in New York at not Shea Stadium, Citi Field, of course. That was the thing with the old guys at the poker tournament. Was I'm like, am I an honorary old guy now? Like, it was just I was at a table with just guys with white and like real gray hair. Although I got salt and pepper, but I was like thinking of old things to talk about while playing, and I'm like, yeah, there's a McDonald's by my house, and it's just old guys hanging out, and I'm like, I get the same vibes here. You guys eating breakfast sandwiches at the table. It was like, you guys are I'm gonna call you the McDonald's crew. And I think they started getting mad at me because they started whooping me after that. Although I did make it through that table. I lost at the second table of the day, but I did get my money back, so that's a positive. But it was fun, man. I'll do that again for sure. I like talking to those guys because they get my old sports references, which is fun for me. Although I'm like, who wears long socks? And by the way, the socks thing bugs me because I will wear ankle socks for the rest of my life, and I don't care. But I asked the old guys about that, and they're like, nah, we wear. One guy wore the knee socks, and I'm like, all right, bro, that's a commitment. Although he did it for circulation, so I can't judge him. Do whatever you want. You like what you like, but I'll never wear not ankle socks. If I'm playing softball, maybe, but no. No, if I'm hiking, I'm wearing hiking boots. I'll go for the laners and the calf. But that's it. I don't care. You can judge me. I'm an old guy. And old guys, when I was young, with the ankle socks or the no-show socks, they were wearing those calf lengths with the stripes on them, like the thick stripes, yellow or red or blue or green. And they made fun of those guys. Like, what happened? Like, why are you doing that? Like, it's just, I think it's about circulation and constricting you. And and I do Rapid Rant coming up here. Find that on any podcasting service. Rapid Rant podcast, of course. And whatever. Going on socks, maybe too long. Already too long. Give too much time to socks, but you can. I will wear ankle socks for the rest of my life. I don't care. You judge me, young people, which is fine. I met a chick on the UNLV dance team, and I'm like, isn't it? There's nothing fun to do in Las Vegas unless you're 21. And she laughed at me, so I'm like, oh, okay. I'm not probing anymore, but I'm sure they find a time, to go do whatever have some fun down there, do things, and being on the dance team, I guess you get to go for sporting events for free. So that's positive. At least college sporting events anyway. Although freaking Raiders tickets cost ridiculous. Although when they get them in the Major League Baseball stadium, they got a bunch of money from Argus, the enemy at Dick's Sporting Goods Park for some people. They gave a bunch of money for that stadium, so it looks like the Oakland/Sacramento A's, not Oakland anymore. They're moving to Las Vegas of all places, which is crazy to these old people. And I was talking about that either. I'm like, can you guys imagine that they're going to have every kind of sporting team there? And if you get the NFL, like that's like the green light for everything. Because if you get the NFL, you got to be in a gigantic market, sports fans, big event things, and I was trying to do research. I'm like, is Utah, is Salt Lake, could they get the NFL? And I don't think there's any way, because I think 32 teams, they got 16 on each conference, and it just works out schedule wise really good for many sports. And I think MLS might go to 32. I'm gonna. Who knows if it goes to more? I know it's not a promotion relegation, but we'll see if it goes. If it goes to the schedule, if it changes the schedule, which is still being talked about, we'll see about that first. The international schedule, of course, which is kind of a big talking point here a couple weeks ago, especially. And I guess we got to wait till All-Star game to get another interview from Don Garber, the MLS commissioner. But I'm always watching that. So, and by the way, I had 2 pair and I lost a 3 of a kind, and that gets me every time. For those old guys, but they're there every day. I don't know if they ride the bus from Denver to go up there every day, but it'll be funny. Rockies turn a double play. Man, they're cruising. Kyle Freeland's cruising. He got 2-run lead. Bottom of the 5th. And all right, we'll live it up today, Rockies fans. Although I was looking at MLB The Shop, see if like any of the fitted hats strike my fancy, but no, not really. There's a purple pinstripe, like purple, and then purple pinstripes of a different like shade. And I'm like, all right, but no, I can't be wearing that. I don't want to draw too much attention to myself. And then I saw their City Connect jerseys, and I'm like, but the only player they had was Chris Bryant. And I'm like, he hasn't even played. It's whatever. Come on, Rock. Like, Tovar, man. Tovar. We're going to have him. They're going to have him. Arbitration several years. Kyle Freeland, by the way, Denver kid. I don't know what the Rockies are thinking over there, but who knows what the Rockies are thinking? I know you can't pick your owner, so there's that. But I don't know. Party deck. I was there a couple weeks ago when the Rapids were on break, and I think I'll be there in a couple weeks. I know I'll be at the Rapid Stadium this weekend when they play Austin, so that's going to be awesome. But elsewhere in the Mountain Time Zone, I was making fun of the Utah Mammoth. The hockey club changed their name to the Mammoth, and they rebranded, and they already picked their colors. And I think that the owner got itchy, and even before, supposed to show the new logos or jerseys or colors or rebranding until after the finals, which start tomorrow. But Orlando Magic changed their jerseys and their logo a little bit, and the Jazz changed their jerseys, and they showed that off yesterday. I don't have it on this tabs, but it not that big. They kind of went back to the mountains. They said 85% of the people, in Utah live next to the Wasatch Mountains. So they're, rebranding the mountains. I think the owner was knee deep in rebranding for the last 2 years, ever since they got the Phoenix Coyote moving to Salt Lake. And they started changing the stadium. It's going to be in phases over the next couple off seasons, I guess. Utah's not getting a new stadium. They're just going to, and they have a great, if you've never been to Salt Lake, go there. The stadium is nice. Drinking, it's kind of rough, but if you can enjoy a sporting event without too much alcohol, go there. But the stadium is nice. It's right downtown. You can walk around after that. Go to one of the few bars down there. A lot safer than Denver's downtown for sure in their main drag. But yeah, I'll go back to Utah over there, especially hour plane ride, maybe 45 to 50 minutes, depending on if you get the small airplane or the large one. So I'll say that. So I'm excited and I want to watch a Nuggets game versus the Jazz. It's not too competitive right now. Maybe in a couple years. The Jazz are tanking for next year's first round pick, projected number 1 pick. And forgive me, I forgot his name. We'll get here in a second. But Danny Ainge, who built the Celtics into their title contender in the 2010s. He's trying to do the same thing with the Jazz. And it is AJ, forgive me, Dybantsa. So he's a BYU kid, so he won't be going that far from Provo, trying from Provo to Salt Lake. And that's what they want. That's what they're doing. There's rumors that Lauri Markkanen is on the trade market, and I'm like, the Nuggets should absolutely try. Absolutely. But I don't think, what are we going to have to give up? MPJ? They're not doing that. I don't know. And we'll get to the Nuggets in a minute, but Utah right now, I wish it was more of a rivalry because, I like beating them. They're just across the mountain range. And actually, I was talking about the Four Corners earlier. Phoenix, but that's kind of far to drive. And Utah, it's not that far. It's close. You want to drive through the mountains, or you want to go Wyoming and go north and then come back down south. I think you briefly go into Montana and then come back down south through Utah to hit Salt Lake City. So, but my point was with the Jazz and showing their colors and logos. They did the preview, the video they put on Twitter. They did not say the Jazz one time. the Jazz, the words Jazz do not appear on any of the jerseys they put out yesterday, previewed. There is the note logo part that they have, but there's no words Jazz. They didn't say the word Jazz. So New Orleans, maybe there's some hope that you can get that name back, because I know they wanted it back. That won in like some poll that the fans had, but Utah owns that trademark and everything that goes with that. Even the team history, I think, from way back in 70s and 80s. Pistol Pete Maravich and everything. So I don't know. I think that owner, maybe Ryan Smith, maybe he understands what I've been saying for 100 years, 20 years. Where's the Jazz? And you, ever since the first time I went there, and you had to find a sponsor to get into the bar, I'm like, well, where's the Jazz at? It's not very well. Like, anyway, so we'll see. We'll see what happens with the Jazz. Maybe they rename them Utah basketball team. What was the other name there? Oh, Outlaws. Maybe they'll change their name to the Outlaws. They've never won a title in Utah, and usually that's what keeps the names and the jerseys that people like around. Once you have that kind of history, so I don't know. It's just interesting, something to watch in our neighboring state. No mention of Jazz. They rebrand. They're more mountains. Although I don't know, Outlaws. That'd be a weird one. I guess, or maybe not. Or just take another name from a Colorado team, Utah. You can have that one. I'm not as connected to it as, although I did go to the first Denver Outlaws game. I was at the first Denver Outlaws game, covering it for a radio station, and I think the Outlaws won. I remember it because there was a guy, and I'm like, the guys, they're facing away. You know how stadium workers face away, and they're staring at the stands, so that checking to see the audience so the fans don't get in trouble or don't they're on their best behavior at some point. And I'm like, man, these are the cross balls. They shoot them, 80 miles an hour sometimes. And I'm like, somebody's going to get hit. And this guy turned around at the exact right moment. And there was an underhand shot. And underhand shots you can get faster than overhand. And you just watch the orange ball just go right at the guy. And he got hit in the some people say nether regions, and that guy had a rough day. Like, they took him out on a stretcher. I'll never forget that. And also, but it just reminds me of my first autograph story. And first of all, I'm not famous. I'm not anything. I've signed exactly one autograph in my life, and it was this one. And I learned don't stand too close to the fans. And that'll be interesting coming up on Friday, because the Rapids have a season ticket holder event, and they watch first team training. They did that last year. It was fun, and so players. But so I was on the sideline. I was waiting to talk to the coach because they weren't doing press conference. They were just having an on-field thing, and I'm standing there with my back turned, and this kid, players just are autographing for people. And this kid, probably 8 or 9, hey man, can I have your autograph? And I'm like, no, you don't want it. You don't want my autograph. I promise you don't. And he asked me a second time, and I'm like, I swear you do not want my, like, I'm not wearing the jersey. I'm wearing a regular. And the third time the kid asks, the dad yells at me, just give him the effing autograph. And I'm like, all right, here you go. And I don't know where that went. Hopefully the dad threw that away, and I don't know. And maybe that kid I hope he got some other autographs. But there you go. I scribbled on some kid's program from the Denver Outlaws. So there's that. Now the only time you autograph anything, and by the way, cursive doesn't even get taught in school anymore. So I don't know how people block lettering their autograph now, or when they sign on your digital screens. Like, is it just block letters? I got to get that from the kids because I thought that's like the whole reason you learn cursive, right? Is to sign your name or to write amazing freehand letters. Which when's the last time you got a letter, a nice letter from a friend? I don't know. I don't think, but although I do know a doctor, and she has the best handwriting I have ever seen, and it's got to be her own font. And she is so fastidious in her writing, and it's amazing. And and she's Asian, Japanese, and it's just amazing. It's just amazing. So, but you never see that. You never ever see that. But I'm always down to get her Christmas cards because there's a note, and I'm like, this is the most amazing penmanship I've ever seen. Ever, ever, ever. So, whatever. When do people write cursive? I don't know. Who cares? Maybe it sounds like an old guy. I'm an old guy complaining at McDonald's right now. But hey, if the Utah Jazz get rid of their name, then I'll have one less thing to complain about. I don't know. Whatever. The Edmonton Oilers in their second Stanley Cup Finals in 2 years. They went to Game 7 last year. They were down 3-1. They won 2 games 5 and 6. They went to Florida for Game 7, and they ultimately lost, giving Florida another Stanley Cup. And I think they've won 3 out of the last 5. And all their ice sheets in Florida. And it's weird that they're winning all the titles. So, but Edmonton break the streak for Canada, 32nd year. And it's been so long that the Avalanche's goalie from when they first won the Stanley Cup in '96 was also the goalie for the Montreal Canadiens. The last time the Canadian team won. So, but it could be a Mountain Standard Time team, Edmonton, who, and for the way that Dallas kind of dominated the Avalanche in the second half of that series, Dallas they got dominated. They got controlled by Edmonton, and it wasn't even close by the last game. And they pulled DeBoer, the head coach for the Dallas Stars, pulled the goalie after like 10 minutes in the first period, and he kind of gave up. I don't know. It was interesting to see Dallas get dominated like that, like the Avalanche. And maybe the Avalanche didn't have a chance. Who knows? Colorado can't get past freaking Dallas in the last couple of years. But we'll see what happens next year. Maybe they have a goalie, the Avalanche finally. And Seattle, who's the goalie? I can't remember his name. He went to the expansion Seattle second year, and it was a surprise move. And they're like, oh, the Avalanche are going to be contenders for years to come because of that goalie. And Seattle hasn't done anything since he arrived for the Kraken. Oh, Grubauer, of course. So there's that. I wish we could have kept. I wish the Avs could have kept him, but what are you going to do? Now there's another Mountain Time team. It's interesting. Utah, Colorado, Edmonton, and I don't know. Although the NHL, they're talking about expansion, and they said Houston and Atlanta, and I'm like, Atlanta doesn't work. Atlanta has not worked twice. Why would it work again? But I think the commissioner is just, he has to, like, that's his legacy. He's like, they get real mad about not having a team. Like, if you lose a team, Atlanta lost a team, you got to have him back. And I think Garber, of course, Miami is a huge market. Is it going to stick around because Messi and David Beckham are there? They're getting stacked. Inter Miami, of course, getting ready for the Club World Cup, along with Seattle and the LA FC, the Falcons over there. So that'll be fun to watch. Rapids off last weekend. Thank you, by the way. I got some recharge. I got some mountain fresh air, and it was nice out there. A little cold, but I'll take the cold. I like the cold. Take the cold over the extremely hot. But waking up early for that, hanging out in the mountains, nothing better than that. And I'm not a skier anymore. My knees are blown, so there's no more skiing for me. But yeah, so I'm not. I don't miss that traffic. And then of course get to hang out with the old guys playing poker. I had a fun couple days off. Did anything happen in politics this week? No, nothing. I can't talk about that. So we'll see. We'll see. I hope the Jazz get rid of their name, change it to whatever, and give the New Orleans Pelican. Who cares about the Pelican? They'll be the Jazz. Give them the name back. Then maybe they'll field a better team. Although we'll see. Maybe the Jazz, Zion Williamson. I talked about him last week. They're having a rough off season, even though they were looking up after their playoff win. It was 2 years ago. They made the play-in game this year. Oh, they were broke down by that point. But whatever. And I can see Utah, Salt Lake getting maybe a baseball team, NFL out of the question. And like I said, NFL, I think they want to expand to London, which would be interesting. Broncos going to London this year, and they play a game the next week after that, which is whatever. My next camping trip, the Rapids are off. Last year I did a camping trip, but they played. The Rapids made the Leagues Cup final, and I came back from the camping trip, and then I went back, and the camping guys, they're a little mad at me. Although they're NASCAR guys, they're racing guys. They're a little mad at me. Friday's not really a racing day unless you care about the young kids in the truck series, which I kind of do, but I hang out with the NASCAR guys. I hang out with soccer guys. I hang out with hockey guys. I hang out with football guys. Anyway, and I hang out with old guys playing poker. So yeah, I did that. They got mad at me, but I don't care. I want to watch the Rapids in the Leagues Cup, especially when you play another team in the Mountain Time Zone. The only League MX team in the Mountain Time Zone, Juarez FC, and I can't remember their nickname off the top of my head, but Rapids aren't playing, but they do play the champions. The Rapids do play the champions of the latest League MX season, Cruz Azul, and Champions League champions. Right, yeah, Conca Champions Cup champions, Cruz Azul. Rapids are playing Cruz Azul in California, I think San Diego, maybe Los Angeles. But yeah, the Rapids playing. So there's another barometer for the Colorado Rapids, who are a 500 team right now in the wild card, hosting the wild card game at this point in the MLS season. But we're exactly halfway. This game this weekend against Austin will be exactly halfway through the MLS season. Just checking on the Rockies here for a moment. But Edmonton, man, they haven't won since. No, Gretzky wasn't on their team when they won in '90. I don't think they won. I wonder how many Stanley Cups. Yeah, 1990. Gretzky was already in Los Angeles at that point. But he did win 4 and 5 years, man. 84, 85, 87, 88. So Edmonton definitely has the most Stanley Cups in the Mountain Time Zone. Yeah, they're going for their 6th starting tonight. I'm excited to watch that. I'll definitely watch Stanley Cup Finals. And Florida's won enough. Florida and the United States has won enough. I want Canada to win. Give some more ammunition north of the border, but that's enough talk about politics. So rooting for them. Canada hasn't won in many years, and especially if it was a Western team in Canada, I want them to win. I don't think Vancouver has ever won a Stanley Cup, so they can keep that going. Right. No, they have a game. They had a Game 7 a couple times, and Vancouver rioted the last time. I remember that. I got a picture of a guy, and he looks exactly like host emeritus of Rapid Rant, Kevin Caberto. He looked exactly like him, and he was smashed in a ATM, and he had the funniest look on his face. He looked exactly like Kevin Caberto. And anyway, Vancouver, yeah, that was Game 7 when they had that good goalie way back in the day. So whatever. The oldest Canadian team to never win a Stanley Cup, Buffalo Sabres, who got screwed in 1999 against the Dallas Stars. The oldest American team that has never won a cup. So there's that. But whatever. Well, I got a theory. Utah's going to get a baseball team. Utah's going to get the only thing that Rob Manfred, right? The only thing he hasn't done is expansion. So we'll see. And MLB, they want some of those expansion fees, right? Major League Baseball owners see the expansion. Manfred for sure wants some expansion fee money. Whatever. And I think, and I don't want to just keep talking about it, but I think the end is close for Pablo Mastroeni, and Utah Rapids can welcome him back to the family. And the Rockies increased their lead 3-0 in the 7th. So 2/3 of the game, Colorado sweep. Man, who would have thought that? a couple weeks ago. But we'll see. Like I said, they're gonna come down to earth tomorrow when they play the Mets. Or on Friday, actually. They got the weekend series over there. Let's go to Arizona. Jordan Ott, assistant coach for Cleveland, going to Phoenix as their new head coach. And is Phoenix going to be a team that's going to start rebuilding? Is New Orleans going to be a team that starts rebuilding? Milwaukee's a team that's going to be rebuilding, although there's no way the Nuggets get a Giannis, right? Although we do have young Michael Porter Jr., although it's going to take more than that, to get him away from there. And would Jokic be forward? Would Giannis be a power forward? He kind of plays that. He kind of plays that way right now. But because they have that big man, what's his name? Lopez. Robin Lopez up in Milwaukee. Although Nuggets, they just need some 3-and-D guys. Like they just need guys that can hit the three. And I know Porter. I swear, if you watch him every night, they're not. I know he has the numbers as 3-pointer, but I don't know. People pile on him. I guess I do, but we'll see. We'll see. But everybody wants him to trade, and trade Porter anyway. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what Kroenke can do. But don't we need a general manager first? And isn't it getting late in the process? The Nuggets don't have any draft picks, but the draft's in 3 weeks. Then we got summer league right after that. Then a couple of weeks of break, and then they're back, and then free agency, and free agency, and then a couple of weeks of break. So who knows? Who knows? I think Nuggets better start announcing some general managers sooner rather than later. I don't know if Kroenke's waiting for the finals to be over, but then does that mean we're getting a guy from Oklahoma or Indiana? I don't know. Who knows? But I thought that they wouldn't give Adelman the job permanently, but I was wrong about that. But I was right about Pascal Siakam winning the Eastern Conference Finals MVP. Larry Bird Trophy, by the way. I won some money on that one. That was lucky. Although it was a forced bet because my friends were talking, trash, and I'm like, Siakam is a winner up in Toronto. Won the championship. I'm like, and he's playing well. And I got told to put my money where my mouth is. And then I did. So there's that. Although you guys know I do talk down sports betting a lot. As in, I find reasons to not bet. I find when I think about it, I'm like, I'm not betting that. I'm not betting. And then it turns out I don't bet anything. So there's that. But it's too easy on your phones, man. I don't like it. I think it just makes it too easy. So there's that. But I guess that's it for Rapids, man. We'll see how the Rockies are doing. 3-zip, bottom of the 7th. Kyle Freeland still on the mound. And I've only been going for 40 minutes, so they've been pretty fast games so far. I guess it's at 2 hours, almost, hour and 30 minutes. So pretty fast game so far. And Rockies 8 outs away from sweeping the Miami Marlins. I'm like, what's more disheartening? The Rockies get a sweep in their first series victory since last September, or the Miami Marlins getting swept? Like, could the Rockies get another coach fired, manager fired because they sweep the Marlins? I don't know. Makes sense, or maybe not make sense. But and I didn't talk about it. Maybe I won't do Rapids Rant today. Maybe I'll do it tomorrow. I'll be down there at DSG for the season ticket holder practice, which is always fun. Armis will talk to the people, and the players they'll stick around. They'll sign a lot. I remember a bunch of players was staying out there last year, and I remember Lawless was there for a long time. But who knows? The other thing, Zach Steffen, he came back from national team duties. He got a knee injury. Don't know how long term. Don't know if it's long term. Definitely not good. He wasn't scheduled to be here this weekend anyway for the Rapids. So maybe Nico Hansen starting again up in Commerce City. Austin FC, the official halfway through the season for MLS. And by the way, go vote in the MLS All-Star Game voting process, because there was not one Rapid on any of the leading vote getters. I know managers, and I think there's like a special commissioner exemption, although he only gives it to star players. But the manager of the MLS All-Star team gets to pick a bunch of players as well. So maybe a Rapid will get in off that, but if not, come on, people, let's start voting for Georgie, who might be hurt. I swear Ollie Larraz should be there. I know that people don't agree with me on that one, but I swear he makes 3 amazing plays every game for the Rapids. And I would say Maxu, because he saves the Rapids bacon every time, but not every team even gets an all-star because they're playing Mexican all-stars or whatever. But but why even have an all-star? Whatever. So I don't want to get in that conversation or me talking at you in that conversation because I can't watch all-star games anymore. I can't. MLS is okay. I do like their jerseys that come out. I do like baseball jerseys, say American on them. Very patriotic. But, whatever. So, yeah, vote for your All-Star. Vote for your Rapids. I think the Rapids last All-Star was Keegan Rosenberry. So there's that. Marlins get a run on the board in the 7th. On a ground rule double. Although it gets stuck in the fence. You don't see that. So it's a double, but it gets stuck in the fence. Weird. That was playable, but whatever. So umpires gave it to him. No argument. Anyway, thanks for waking up early with me. I woke up early. My eyes are bleary-eyed, huh? I guess we can call them that. I'm Don Pablo. Thanks for listening to the Mountain Time Sports Report, Mountain Standard Time Sports Report. Find us on Twitch and YouTube. Subscribe, turn on the notifications. You can see when I'm live talking about Mountain Time and sometimes other time zones. I don't like the Central Time Zone because Oklahoma City Thunder. My finals pick, maybe I'll talk about that tomorrow, but unless Indiana comes out, we'll see what they look like. But we'll tell after the first game whether or not Indiana Pacers have a chance. And I hope they do because Indiana, home of basketball, they get to host the Final Four every other year for some reason. Hoosiers, Bob Knight, Butler, they have all this history in that state. And maybe they need a Larry O'Brien. Reggie Miller, we'll see if Reggie Miller picks his own team. I hope he does, but whatever. So thanks for listening to Mountain Time Sports Report. I'm Don Pablo. Of course, follow Mountain Time Sports Report and Rapids Rant, Twitter, X, Blue Sky, and Miami. Oh, 1-0. Nope. 3-1 for Miami. Just scored. Kyle Freeland, I think that's it for him, although he will be responsible for 2 runners on the bases right now. And Pablo, thanks for listening to Mountain Time Sports Report.